강아지 serjunranji robin mental tantrachini jinda anteginu chinba sawone balunam kain 강조란이 빠지를 저러니까 빠진다 가는 바 담배고 두배 숨긴 친구 대시 다들 내면 님지 공부다 대진라 수지 졸라 차와 제가는 성게 소로로 되지 되게 줄을 대다지지 담배 chuy인진이 대시 강도 주주 동기지 된다 대줄로 말죠 강화소다 댕들을 담배 주지 차배진 넘버도 탐지 대시 namo lai ke na ludan no jinge tumum da mi janam da ro kunji tanam chi sam tamji ke do thagi chu dan do pandan sa la marambu che tagi chur pemende juni kadin chembe gon ni jesung kusung du je on ro za do thagi tu je shati risu chung chenji mi tu ji pom chung serjulum bo tabru ji be go shaji je be jamlo cha so lo cha mo kholo ji be je bo do janam go bo sang ge no na ka do tela tel dem bo tsumba cheres de la cha so lo se ji jao tam ji ji 20분 bo ji de ba si ji kun je pa ji lo jambe yang cha so kanji tong ni xin je yi pon la so da wa no da ni cho ji je je bo do je chang la cha sa lo korwa le do tare ma to tare ji je do tore no na mo do mo yim no cha 시제 탐지식 배제양 바 도긴게 루베 투제 진사메 칠레제베 똥마 잠근 아메샤블로 고차차 소와 뎁슬로 진짜고 제스 송실라 진짜고 신실로 실라 진짜고 된거 칠 지그다노 진짜고 투제 시치나 진짜 chen chen de chen chilla terchen dani lama jambal de chen 조그 탐도 인기 걸로 넘사 쳤당스 니셈 타지 담배메 바테긴 gembe söz 직자세투 넘터 sabjin 자치 달라 녀조 엽진일을 하신 달라 레와마 직간낸다 닌첸 군도 자면 그 베삼데 치지 두지 숙중세면냐 문제 성이 랑기메 벤네베세 타동 균님 마ጆ 팔도 잡션 소거로 마조르지 공오지 유지 녹장 sab마케서로 동보다 양센 초기 모둠니 뼈마 정내 셔스 코르도 칸드름 망도 걸 제지 제소 답득티 신질 납제를 셰스 소 그룹 마스디 홍 무슨 담마 소제도 달라 조금 문제 모두 잘도서 언제는 맞잖아 소 가진 것좀 튼튼 선바드바 조금 더 모두 잘도서 still not used to pants So touched the lake and I'm so happy to see some familiar faces and some new faces and just this place, Santa Fe. You're so fortunate to be living here. We have to live somewhere. There's no choice. We must live somewhere. Sometimes I wish I could pause and just pause and not live anywhere and then restart again. Of all the places, I think this place, you must have heard this a lot. You must have felt this a lot. It's quite balanced. You can feel. Now I don't know how the weather is. Maybe it's too dry and too many hands. But not. We always find things to complain about. But overall, it's really. The land smells nice because of all these medicinal plants that you have. So, very happy to be here. It's really, truly a miracle. Well, topic, what is karma? I guess it's too simple. To be honest, I'm amazed that you're here. Everybody thinks they know karma. It must be Something must have happened in your life.
There's a catch to it.
Didn't Taylor Swift made a song, Karma? Like #1 in the US last year. It's Karma. In that regard, I'm actually quite happy that such a concept is entering our psyche, our mainstream, however mistaken, misguided, but at least there is some sort of sense of responsibility that things just don't fall from the sky. It's just you are very much involved in what happens to you. Before we begin, I would really like to request you to try and sit straight and bring to your mind the ultimate teacher, Siddhartha Gautama. What can we say about a fully awakened being whose sole motivation was to bring benefit, to help, to be useful, to bring comfort, happiness, to end suffering of others, who had the wisdom and the necessary skill to do so? Siddhartha Gautama, seated in front of you, with his right hand touching the ground, and left hand in meditation posture, and his gaze fixed on you. What would you do if you come face to face with an awakened being? Someone who has nothing but compassion for you. No aggression, whose mind is free of obsession, greed, jealousy, ignorance, who has no personal preference, agendas, who is just there for our benefit. Thank you so much. From my side, the most important thing is done for tonight. That you thought about Buddha. Some things you just have to do to understand their value, to know that it is unfailing, like taking medicine. Just hearing that, oh, this medicine will cure you of your ailments, whatever sickness and discomfort you have, it doesn't help. And on the other hand, if you just take it, you see the result, and it is true, transparent. You do not need to be persuaded. Thinking about Buddha is like that, I think. His very form, his very image, a powerful prince who gave up everything, cut his hair, started wearing rags, basically rags, and spending years and years in deep forest, on mountains and caves. In order to find wisdom, in order to find an answer to our existence. It does something to our mind. When you think about Buddha, I think most of us, it really, of course you can say it is the blessing of the Buddha, it is your karma and whatnot, but it is soothing. There are things in this world that is so soothing. There is a man in South India. He makes incense maker. He probably earns like $150 a month. He has a bicycle. Not sure he still has a transistor radio, but that's how I remember him, with the transistor radio dangling from his handrail with a Bollywood song. The happiest man I've ever met in my life is that guy. So happy, so helpful, always ready to help. He doesn't do me any personal benefit, but I'm just so happy that such a person is there, just breathing, just breathing. I don't think he has any phone or social. He probably doesn't even know what that is. Maybe by now someone has shown him. He's just so happy. Similarly, knowing that there was this prince, this powerful man, in the worldly terms, had almost everything that we could wish for, yet had the insight, wisdom, and courage enough to ask questions. Is this all there is to existence? What happened before I appeared? What will happen afterwards? He had so many questions. Just to know about the existence of such a person is such a source of blessing and tranquility. Today's karma is one of his main gifts to us. This man, Indian man, his gift to us is the teaching of karma. One of the most important thing that was ever spoken was all phenomena comes from their own causes and conditions. That changed everything. What a thing to say. All phenomena come from their own causes and conditions. You begin to understand, have profound insight into the workings of things. The more you contemplate, all phenomena comes from their own causes and conditions. Is there someone here who's listening to this kind of thing for the first time? A simple question. All right. Oh, would you like to maybe bring the chair a bit closer?
Come closer.
Yeah, sure.
You can bring the chairs.
No, I'll be on the
Can everybody else hear? Does anybody else have trouble?
I'm having trouble hearing.
Yeah. Can you come closer? No, you're in a chair. Can you bring your chair closer?
But you should hear.
Probably don't
You're
wanna
the
make- How about
organizer.
if we put your chair here? Let's put your chair here. Yeah.
Come on up there. I'll take care of this for you.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Really? It's kind of crazy.
Good, you have your feet.
There are so many things that Siddhartha Gautama did that was unique for his time. You can say revolutionary. One such thing is, maybe it's good if there, some of us are listening to these things for the first time. The way the Buddhas teach is by using the idea of two truths, that there are two truths. It's very simple. It's the more you learn about the two truths, the more it becomes baffling, but that's for the later. For now, it's very simple. Two truths: appearance and reality. First one is called the relative truth. It's true because you experience it. It's true for you. And it is called relative because what you experience, your truth, can be untrue for someone else, can be false for someone else, someone with a higher vision, higher view, higher insight, better insight. And so it's called the relative truth. Relative truth then is basically form, smell, touch, everything that you experience, we experience is called relative truth. This is our relative truth. This is true for us. This is true for us. Having two hands is normal for us. For a grasshopper, that is a terrible thing to be, have only two hands. That's not their truth. Their truth, you must have a couple of limbs. It's not two hands. You will not survive a day. Relative truth, meaning it is true for a particular group of beings. As I just explained, it's true, but only in relation to that kind of mind. So it's relative truth. And then you have the ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is what is the true nature of things? What is it, the true very fabric of phenomena? Okay, they appear. You can smell them. You can touch them. There is feelings. But what is the true nature of it? And that's the ultimate truth. Jazz in itself is such a unique way of introducing the path and the result. You can also see that the reason why the Buddha gave teaching is not to start a tradition. It's not really to start a religion or to build, institutions. In truth, the reason why the Buddha spoke is to awaken us. awaken us to the very how things are. That's another very unique way how the Buddha used to teach. It would seem he didn't have to create a different language or complex ideas to help his disciples. He would just point out things as they were. Because if you have to create something else, if you have to create something, that will not be the truth, that will not be real, that will be a fabrication. The Tibetan name for one, Sanskrit, Buddha has different names. You have Buddha, Sugata, Tathagata, of Arhat. One of those, Tathagata, the translations roughly thus gone or thusly gone. I don't know. It sounds weird to me, but if it works, thusly gone. Meaning how did he live according to the reality of things, being able to accept it 100% without any without any grasping, without any alteration. We cannot. We always want some things to remain and we fight for it. We want things to not remain and we fight for it. And that is not according to how things are. By nature, things are impermanent, for example, just to use that. By nature, things are impermanent. So, Buddha would teach that all compounded things are impermanent. And now what? What do you do after that? That kind of knowledge you could just have from just reading any book. We know that. All things are impermanent. Now what? Then to accept it, to contemplate on it, and to change the way you see things based upon this knowledge. All things are impermanent. It's inevitable. Change. It's not that things are changing. Things are the change. So there's, and in so many ways, Siddhartha Gautama taught, and it was time and again, if you give yourself a chance, let his teaching marinate, sort of contemplate, you realize that he didn't really create something, he just pointed things out. And that's so beautiful, this ability to do that, but also being completely natural without creating a complex system. So this here, the teaching of karma, it's such a vast subject. We're not really going to be able to talk thoroughly about karma. It's really, I have been seriously studying Buddhism for about, when it's 2003, since then. It's not a long time, but it's kind of. So, once in a while, when things go right, I do some things, whether either I gain something, things fall apart, either way, I get a bit closer to understanding what karma is. karma is it decided by someone or something, or is it what do you call it, predestined? Is it like fate? If I understand, fate is you cannot change it, right? It's something that has to happen. That's your fate. Is karma like that? Or one can change it. So, and most importantly, what is the main ingredient or the nucleus of karma? What is it? What makes it karma? What makes it karma? I think, of course, we can speak in terms of karma is some, when you do good, something good will happen to you, like a reward. When you do bad, something bad will happen to you, almost like a punishment. You can talk like that, and if that works for you, it's perfect. The job is easy. But it doesn't sometimes. And so we have to dig deeper. What really is karma? So, as I was saying at the beginning, all that the Buddha said, all phenomena come from their own causes and conditions. Karma is basically cause and effect. Cause and effect. I think in those days, to say all phenomena must come from their own causes and conditions is just must be so shocking, because most population believe all phenomena come from one source. In India, for example, there was no organized religion like Hinduism at that time, but many traditions that believed in a creator, and later they were all bundled up together, named Hindu, as we find out in the history books. There were people who believed, yes, a creator made us. A creator. Shiva made us. How? He first struck his damaru, made a sound. From there all creation happened like that. Or Brahma made us. How? Brahma was all alone and he had the wish to have companion, so and then there were traditions in India that believe time, it is time. They believe that there is such a phenomenon called time, and it is the time that makes us. So time is not just change, but like an energy, something absolute, something that is that creates everything. So there's so many Indian schools. If you're interested, you should look into them. It's really interesting how thousands of years ago they came to such conclusions, and some are really impressive, really extremely impressive. And then there were Indian schools that said, no, things just happen randomly. There is no real causality to it. It's just you're born, you die. There's no, your mind arises, come out of your body, and then you die. The mind will cease, the body will be rotten and burned, and you're done. You cease to exist. Then there were schools like that called Charvakas. And so among this kind of crowd, to say all phenomena come from their own causes and conditions, meaning there's no one cause. Separate causes. What caused you cannot cause me. What caused this thing cannot cause the other thing. It's just so different causes and conditions. And of causes and conditions, you have simple things like, okay, if I use an example from a sutra, Rice Seedling Sutra, simple example is that of a seed. There is a seed. You plant the seed into the earth. So now you have the gathering of the seed, earth, and there should be warmth, which is the fire. There should be moisture, which is the water. There should be air, obviously. Space to grow. So it grows. None of these phenomena come together thinking we are going to help the seed to grow. The seed does not grow by thinking, now I will grow, now I have all the conditions. It happens when it is complete. Whatever the necessary ingredient is needed is complete. And then the shoot comes out. And then stem, leaves, flowers, and fruits, and so on. Now, what this statement means of the Buddha is that for the flower to appear, there has to be these leaves and branches and stems. For these stems to appear, there has to be shoot. A green shoot has to come out of the seed. For that, for the shoot to happen, you need the seed. And so you have these chain of causality, but then the question is, what would the Creator do now that the water would not do, air wouldn't do, seed wouldn't do, shoot wouldn't do? There is no extra role left for it, for whether Creator energy or being, regardless. Now that is quite simple. This kind of cause and effect is quite simple to ascertain because it is visible to us and it is rational. It's rational. It's unfailingly rational. So then when you understand this, that all phenomena must come from their own causes and conditions, you also understand that all phenomena are results of their causes and conditions, and all phenomena are causes and conditions of other phenomena. Matter of fact, the only thing phenomena can do is cause something else, is to give a result. Exist, while existing, you're giving a result, and then that's it. That is your sort of so when you understand that, then you also understand that there is no beginning. There is no beginning to existence. All phenomena must come from their own causes and conditions. And so a simple object like this, whatever this is currently made of, during the beginning of this world, our world, the material that makes this right now, the lineage of the material has to be there. And then from wherever those material came from, it cannot just appear during Big Bang. It is also coming from their own causes and conditions. And so Buddha came to this conclusion of beginningless samsara. When he said samsara has no beginning, existence has no beginning, it's for the simple fact. And then also there is no end to existence, because whatever exists must give result. I think it's something very similar to energy never dies, how energy never dies. It always changes form, but it always lives on in a different form. Now, karma is not as simple as external cause and effect. Like I said, external cause and effect is predictable, it's rational, logical. But the internal cause and effect of mind, when I say cause and effect of mind, I mean mind itself, it's not rational. Mind is not rational. Mind is not predictable. When you should feel happy, you might feel sad. When you could wait for a whole year thinking, next year from January I'm going to practice so seriously, I'm going to go to retreat, and then January comes and suddenly you don't want to practice. This doesn't happen to when you put the seed down and you protect it, you make sure everything is there, it will grow. That's how farming is done. Whereas when it's come to mind, it's not predictable at all. And it is baffling, it is confusing, and in our confusion, we try everything. We do everything. Look at our world right now. Look at ourselves. The morning I wake up, is first thing before I yawn, I look. Well, who messaged me? It's like always trying to make sense of things. As if I am trying to prove or justify my existence. I must always do something. That kind of unreliability of our mind, it's unreliable, unpredictable. To be honest, that's karma. That is what is meant by karma. Karma is the cause and effect of mind. It's all to do with mind. It's not really how you smile. Just because, you sort of behave and smile, it's good karma. No. How was your mind at that time? That decides as good or bad karma. It's incredible that how very little effort has been into understanding this. Why are we so unpredictable, our mind? Why is it the way it is? So, according to Siddhartha Gautama Shakyamuni, what you experience, what you feel, whatever that is going on around you, it has all to do with karma, what he called karma, which is basically cause and effect. Maybe we should just call it cause and effect so that it doesn't sound like a very specific phenomenon. It's not a phenomenon. It's like saying time. There is no time. Time is merely change. It's a measurement of change. It's not a cosmic clock somewhere hovering above our world. It's just similarly karma. There's no such thing as a karma anywhere, not under our bed or table, inside or outside. It's just the way our mind behaves. and the way the waves of our mind affects us, our present and our future. That's karma. This is, when we talk about karma, this is really difficult to, you may feel I am struggling right now. I am. Every time I talk about karma, I struggle so much. Because, it's, everything else is easy. Emptiness, sort of whatnot, all these profound big words. But they can, even though we say emptiness is without, but emptiness is beyond rationality, right? But you can, emptiness is beyond logic, but there are logic that makes us understand emptiness. You can rationalize it. There's so many, you can understand it right now, but karma is, it needs more than mere intellectual understanding. It needs, because when it comes to this kind of discussion, we always tend to look into why does it exist? And we never ask the question, why can it not be? Years ago, one boy came to me. He's from Buddhist family, but he went to Christian school. At the end of the day, he ended up believing nothing. He doesn't want to believe in God. He doesn't want to believe. But after his father died, his mind changed, and he thought, my father was such a solid man. He was confident, and he said, it seemed to help him. So he really desperately wanted to understand. He broke down in front of me. He said, I just cannot, I would do sort of serious practice. I would really jump into Dharma, but the one thing is holding me back. So I just don't get it. Why is there a life after death? How can you tell me that there is a life after death? To be honest, it's not. How can we tell you there is life after death? How can we tell you there is life on a different planet? Or how can we tell you that tomorrow will happen for sure? No one can. It's not possible. But you have to look at the probability. First, you come with an empty mind, a sincere mind. A sincere mind is not biased. But there's a 50% chance there's a life after death, 50% chance there is no life after death. If you come like this, then it's workable. You're open. Your mind is open for possibilities. Things can happen. So then I suggested. I said, if you ask why can there be no life after death, not just why is there a life after death, how can there be a life after death, but also the opposite you should question, and then slowly you will find more reasons why there is probably a life after death than why there can be no life after death. Anyway, that was him. But here, for example, when we talk about karma, because when we talk about karma, again, the issue of life after death will arise. First of all, to talk about karma, you actually have to talk about mind then. What is mind? Mind. That's just, what a thing to have. Mind. I think you all have mind. I do not know though. I have no idea. I could be in a mental institution in South India right now, speaking like, doing this to a wall. Mind. Or maybe we do have mind, but very different kinds. There's no way of telling we use similar sounds and language. And we reassure each other that this is how I feel. We keep telling, I love you. Again, every day you must tell, I love you forever and ever. We have to reassure each other again and again. Mind. It is it's the only thing we can know for sure. Matter of fact, what we call we is the mind. So the mind only the mind can know itself. You know when someone is telling you a story and you say, how do you know? They say, I know, only I know. You lose credibility immediately. You don't believe the guy. I don't know. Only you can know. That doesn't sound real. That's what is happening here. If you really look into it, what is mind? Only the mind knows what is mind. And only my mind. It cannot be shown. It cannot be tasted. It cannot be touched. It cannot be felt. I can express it. You probably understand something. That's how you know I have a mind. And this is how I know you have a mind. So, that's why I said, to understand karma, it's the workings of karma. It is just, the topic was so vast, but from today, I really wish to stress this. To really see, do I have a mind? What is this mind? What is it doing? And then you might notice that when things like all the things that we consider bad, universally, anger, greed, obsession, this greed and jealousy. Oh, jealousy? Have you ever felt jealous? I have. It's the worst thing. You become so small, insignificant, invisible. And it's all in your head. The person has no idea. The person has no idea what you're going through. You're just burning in your own pot. So, if you watch your mind, you'll notice that whenever these things appear, it makes you sad. Lonely, alone, insecure, afraid, doubt. You don't like it. And whenever a wish is there to help someone, to make someone comfortable, to benefit, to give, to not harm. It's a big thing to not harm. When you do those things, when mind goes through those things, you immediately feel better. You feel better. Happiness blossoms in your mind when you do those things. That is the reason of karma. Good karma, bad karma. That's what it means. Good karma, bad karma. You know what is good, doing good, being good. And it must give result. Any action must have its result. Things do not disappear. Things do not cease. This is also very important, especially when you study pramana, this ancient sort of system, logic and reasoning. This is one most important thing that you will come face to face again and again, is that nothing vanishes without any trace. Everything must leave a result. So why should mind be different? Why should mental action be different? And so here comes the explanation of the Buddha that what he is supposed to have seen happening is that when beings we do something good, and then in a year or 2 years, in a day, in a lifetime or hundreds of lifetimes, something good will happen. And when you do harm to yourself and others, it not only harms you right now, but in future too it does harm. So this was his explanation of why is our mind so unpredictable. These things are supposed to bring us joy. Why do we have these things? Everything that we have, every single thing that we have is to bring us joy, comfort, sense of security. But why am I still not happy? Why am I still not content? And people have wealth that they cannot possibly spend in sort of in their lives. Recently, I was reading about this Indian billionaire, and I don't know if it's true or not, but if he would spend $1 million per day, it would take him more than 300 years to finish his wealth. What are you going to do with that? You have one mouth to put food in, just one hole to take things out. You cannot eat. What are you? When is it enough? And these people, they are proud that they wake up. I wake up at 4 a.m. and that they're working. They're proud that they're working because it's not enough. It wasn't enough. You think right now, if I have half of that, it will be enough, but probably not, because it's not enough for them. Maybe we will be even worse than them. That's the unpredictable side of mind. It doesn't do what it's supposed to do. I like something today. Tomorrow, not so much. You might argue it's the same thing. I don't know. I don't like it anymore. Or I don't like it as much as yesterday. Unpredictable. Very strange. So Siddhartha Gautama's explanation, why does this happen? Why is mind like that? It's because of karma, he says. Mind is most affected by itself, not by external phenomena, but by itself. External things can do things to your mind, obviously, but the most important thing is the mind itself. When you are stuck with grief, nothing will help. When you are stuck with fear, for example, fear, intense fear, all the things that's supposed to excite you, it's meaningless. It's like so mind is most affected by itself, its own movement. Of course, there are many, when we talk about now, like a good karma bringing good result, bad karma bringing bad result, it is really, really not as simple as it is what I'm saying right now. A good result could be due to good karma, you might fall down and break both of your legs. Both of your legs are broken. And so you are hospitalized. And then that day, a bodhisattva decides to visit that place. And you meet the bodhisattva. And that changes your existence. So that fall, that unbelievable pain of having your bones broken, but because of your good karma. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, it's not like good karma, then it's all rainbows and butterflies. It's, and also when we talk about results, maybe this, although however boring this is, this kind of discussions, I don't know, maybe it's boring for you, but it is important we have this, or else it's just so vague. Do something good, good will happen. Do something bad, bad will happen. But then it's vague. Since it is vague, when things happen to you, you begin to question, why is this happening? How is this happening? Just as anything can bring so many results. A fire can bring warmth, light, can burn, can kill, can do so many things, and will do so many things simultaneously, bring many results. A seed can bring so many results. The entire tree, hundreds of fruits and flowers and leaves, all of this coming from one seed. The smell, the scent, the taste. Similarly, karma also brings many results. Trust me, I'm really trying to make it not boring. But I don't know, it's just, I'm so relaxed in Santa Fe. I feel like I can say anything. Maybe not good. You see, maybe this relaxedness is due to bad karma. Relax.
Maybe it's all of our collective good karma to have you.
For example, let's talk about good karma, very classic good karma. You give something to someone, let's say that. Everybody believes it's a good thing to do, to give someone something to a needy person. Okay, it's a good karma. So right now you feel good about yourself. And then in future, you have a result. Different kinds of result. One result is you have a higher rebirth. This, for example, a human rebirth is supposed to be a higher rebirth. Again, higher rebirth, lower rebirth is all dependent on the capacity of mind. How capable is your mind? More capable, it's a higher rebirth. Human life is extremely capable. Doesn't mean that in human rebirth you don't suffer like animals. You can suffer everything, like even like a hell realm in human rebirth. But it's just your mental capacity is so good. We have capacity to understand profound things. We have ability to have abstract ideas such as I want to help everybody. I want, and actually feel love and compassion. That's human rebirth. So let's say due to this good karma, you get a human rebirth. But is it finished there? No. Then again in future, wherever you are born in abundance, in lands and places where there is not much poverty. That's also one result called takpudu. And then another result is you want to give again in your next life. You don't know, you're more generous. That's one karmic result too, because of your previous life having given something. And also you receive from others. That's a very, very simple sort of way how a good karma is supposed to function. And similarly, bad karma, if you kill, let's say somebody killed with intense anger, a dog or a cat or a mouse or a rat or whatever. And so that namin, the maturation, the main result could be lower realms, being born in lower realms. And that lasts however long it lasts. And then even when you're born as a human, you will be born in the places where there is a lot of danger to life. A lot of danger to life. Untrustworthy surroundings. And out of habit, you might be prone to kill again and getting killed. Have questions? I think, yeah, I need questions. I actually don't know what you're thinking at all. Please.
Can you talk about the purification aspect of karma? If you have.
Yes. Yes, so then, just as a physical stain has to be cleaned physically, mental stain has to be cleaned through mental effort. And so, same thing. When out of since we're talking about purification, when out of, let's say, miserliness, out of greed, you could easily help someone and you do not, when they ask for it, you just do not. That's, let's say, it's a negative karma, it's a bad karma, it's a bad thing to do. But later you regret, and that already weakens your action. And then, as an antidote, you open your heart and you actually start giving to others, maybe to that same person or to someone else. With thinking with your mind, this is to purify that negative karma. And you may turn to dharma recitings, mantras, scriptures, making prostrations. All of this is possible. But at the end, you need to have the conviction that that negative karma is now purified. And that conviction, you cannot fake it. It will come by itself when time is right. That's purification. I don't know, I cannot make it things simple today, please.
Thank you, teacher. So would you say that it this purification, it begin with taking responsibility for the thoughts that you have? If something happened and you're like, it's not coming good for me, this one, and then you go and you review, I did this because my thought. So to first see the seed that it was the thought.
Yes, of course, but many times it's not just the thought; it's the action that comes with the thought, right?
Yes.
So the main support or main reason why purification is possible, we believe it is getting purified, is that you no longer believing in it. When you do something bad, you do not believe that was good. You believe that was a bad thing that happened. I was saying, like, remorse, guilt, not guilt, but knowing that was bad, that's what I'm talking about. Because it has to go somewhere. What is the use of knowing about karma? Why should we know about karma at all? Why did Buddha teach karma? It wasn't so that we could have a good life. It's not so that we can have a good rebirth even. It's to go beyond samsara, to be awakened. To be awakened, that's what is needed. We need. Siddhartha's wish is so that we have wisdom, we can be free. But that wisdom is available only when you have the mental capacity to actually seek such a thing. If we are born as an ant or an insect, judging by their behavior, it doesn't look like they're seeking wisdom. It just looks like they're just trying to live, trying to survive. And that is not really conducive for awakening. So Siddhartha's wish is that we have perfect circumstances so that we may seek wisdom, get awakened, enlightened. And that happens in higher rebirth. And so, yes, do good, be good, all that. And also, not only that, for a bodhisattva, for someone who says, I want to liberate all beings, is the worst thing that one can do, and worst thing that happens a lot is that you yourself end up harming them. So that the whole teaching of karma takes a different form. Tonight I just speak very, very generally sort of what actually karma is, not really how it works. If you are really interested, there's so many teachings, and I actually spend almost 2 to 3 hours speaking about the workings of karma at another center that you can actually easily access. Tonight, I just wanted to have just a brief introduction of karma.
So I have a question about personal karma versus like communal karma. I'll give you an example. I moved into a neighborhood a few years ago, and the neighborhood's a mess. People don't trust each other. They're terrible to each other. And we live there, and we're getting sort of sucked into this, what I would consider karma that was happening in the neighborhood before we arrived. And I feel like we're getting drawn into it. Do I have a responsibility here? Is this my karma that we came to this neighborhood, into this situation? Because I feel like I want to just wall myself off from the neighborhood karma. So, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. It could be that you also have similar karma. We have done everything. Any karma you can imagine, good and bad, we have done it. If only we could see sort of karma every time we see each other, this is my karma. It would be so interesting. And so that kind of thing that you're experiencing, this happens a lot. And I think, it's both involved, not just, we get sucked into it also because we have done this so many times. You can wall yourself. That's a bit easier. Maybe what we will end up doing anyway, most of the time what we end up doing, we just like you see 2 people fighting on subway and you just don't pretend like you don't see anything,
Mm-hmm.
Or you just try to be a helpful neighbor anytime they need help. You tell them, I'm here anytime you need help. And that's it. Never participate in gossip, never participate in arguments. And maybe that's the purification for us. This is good. Please ask me more questions. I get ideas of what's going on in your minds. Yes, please.
Since so much of karma seems to start in our mind, and since I seem to have so little control of my mind, but it's always there. So my question is, how to become more conscious of my mind?
By watching it.
Sometimes hours can go by and I haven't noticed my mind.
No, that's true. This is so true. Mind watching itself is the most difficult thing. The most difficult thing. Whereas mind watching something else is easy. Matter of fact, that is what we think mind is.
Right.
Just this constant jump from thoughts to thoughts and ideas to ideas and objects. Start with it. You could practice simple samatha, like breathing meditation, which is training the mind to just stay with one thing. It starts with the breathing, but after a while, you begin to be one pointed on your breathing, and then after a while, the breathing becomes so soft that you no longer feel your breathing, you no longer detect it. That's when then your mind attention will shift to the mind, or you can shift your attention to the mind. That kind of, in terms of meditation practice, that is there. Or else, I think asking questions like, what is mind? Where is my mind? What is it doing now? That's about it, really. It's really interesting. Everything is calculated by mind. It is so fast. This belongs to the center, right? So imagine I drop it and it breaks. Well, this cannot break. I don't know. Something else like this, it breaks. Before it breaks, in my mind, I have, it's going to break, and this belongs to someone else. Maybe I'll say this. It's all instantaneous in your mind. It's that fast. So, why did I say that? Just before that, what was I saying about mind? That's the thing, not watching my mind. I wasn't watching my mind. When you watch your mind, you really notice that it's always, everything you do is, even when you sit like this, you're very different when you're by yourself. You're very different when you're in a crowd. You're very different when you're with your families. You're very different when you're with strangers. You're very different when you're supposed to be like a teacher. It's all different. And your hand placement. If you are at a party, how you sit, how you hold your drink, just watch. It's very different. It's quite exciting actually. Adventurous. I think we really need to have that too. This is something no one else can do. Only you can know the mind, your mind. And if the teachers are to be trusted, the depth of the mind is just marvelous. So much peace and tranquility. It's just the surface that is a mess. That is a mess that appears to be a mess. What else? About karma. One very big topic about karma is, like I said, about mind. And then when you talk about mind, you have to talk about things like life after death, the continuity of mind. That's one main reason why Buddhists believe in life after death. There is a great Buddhist master called Dharmakirti, and he wrote a text. The beginning of text, he asked this question: can we trust the Buddha? Is Buddha a trustworthy person? That's the question. And the whole text and argument is about that. And his argument about life after death, and he said, I think it's very possible, he said, that there has to be a life after death, or some continuity of mind. Because, he argued that mind, the sort of mind, the awareness of the mind only comes from previous awareness. You cannot be suddenly aware. It has to, like in this life, it is continuous. It doesn't stop. The awareness must always continue. The moment it stops, then that's not living. That's dead. Dead. Right? So he argues, just as all phenomena must give result, and result also similar result. You cannot have strange result. You cannot have banana from rice. That's not similar. So after observing how things are in nature, outside and inside, he came to a conclusion that the last moment of mind of this life must give result. He said, must give result. He said, it cannot just vanish. This is unlike nature. It doesn't work like this. Nothing works like this. So then there is talk about next life. Then when we talk about karma, one very, very, very big topic is, where is karma? It's such a big topic. So some believe, it's like taking a loan. When you take a loan, you get a receipt. So when whether you do good or bad, your body and mind gets like a thing that is like a receipt. People, our friends from Sri Lanka, they believe that. Theravada tradition believe that. Thopa, that's the word. And then there are traditions that say, no, it's when you do something good or bad, it leaves a seed on the mind. And this mind carries, go to the next life and so on. Because the question is, okay, if karma is cause and effect, now I have one seed, I put it in the ground, it must give result soon. Right? The seed must directly then turn into a shoot. You cannot say, I put the seed here today, then it vanishes, and after 100 years it gives result. It doesn't make sense. It has to be continuity. So then the question is, after doing karma, finish, okay, today I do something good. This is a good karma. But where is it? What is it and where is it? And so then some say it is the seed that is left on the mind, and the mind continues and carries the seed. Some say it is an imprint, like on a clay. When you make your print, then whether something beautiful or ugly, it has the capacity to recreate that. So they say like this, like an imprint. Then there are those teachers who say, none of this is correct. Chandrakirti, I love this kind of teacher because he said, there's a sutra where Buddha is talking to a king, and the king asked this question: where does, Buddha is talking about good karma, bad karma. The king says, when I die, where is this karma? Where is this karma? How does it follow me, and so on. So Buddha says, karma is nowhere, neither in your mind, nor outside, not on a mountain, not under a tree, nowhere. But it will only ripen in your continuity, nowhere else. And he gave the example of an eagle. When an eagle takes its flight, Buddha said, while it's on the ground, there is a shadow, because the causes and conditions for shadow is there. But as it flies high enough, you no longer see its shadow. But when it comes down, the shadow becomes visible again. So Buddha said, it's not that it doesn't have a shadow, it's just not visible. Like that. So similarly, anyway. It's so, yeah. You guys are, as I learned to say, you guys are doing great. Please.
Thank you. My question is, when we think of karma being the impressions of our mental energy and our action, it's almost a very independent cause and effect. Thinking about previous lives brings a much bigger dimension. My question is more so, you hear all this about karmic inheritance with family. So I wonder, in one human being's experience, is it the impressions since birth that would be inherited from physical lineage, family lineage? Or is the family's karmic load what you are bringing into this life from your previous independent experience?
Both, I think. That's another thing is that karma is not irreversible, right? Karma is just cause and effect. As long as it is caused, there is a cause. The cause can be damaged. The cause changed. So karma is not irreversible. And so, yes, it's a bit abstract when you say inherited karma, like sort of karma. But there is some sense of it. Like, I grew up in India, I'm born in India. Right? And Indians, they used to be, the British sort of colonized India for almost 400 years. For 400 years, they believed that these are the leaders, the boss, the people who know whatever, whether they believed or not, this is what they were taught, right? That's proper. This is what they were taught, and this is what. So even to this day, when they see a white person, they're like, yes sir, no ma'am, let's do that. It just comes out. And so, you know what I mean? It's something that what you just said, inherited. It's inherited. Yeah. So I think it's both. You learn in this life. This is something also learned in this life, depending upon the surrounding you grow up. Your childhood. It all plays its role. An Indian born in the U.S. may not have the same. Yeah. All right.
I'm just wondering, shall I make a little announcement about the talk tomorrow night? Are we ready yet?
I have one more question. It's a follow-up question. You said that karma is not irreversible. How do we reverse karma that we may have caused?
All of this talk, it's difficult for me because I am a rational person usually. I need like, look, this is like this. And this. It's so difficult to talk about it. But idea of it is that it can be reversed, of course, because anything that has the causes and conditions, when you change the causes and conditions, it is reversed. So when you accumulate a karma, good karma, let's say a bad karma, it in itself cannot give result. It has to meet with the proper causes and conditions. This actually when we're talking about 12 links of dependent origination. I don't know why I love these sort of dry topics. But and for yourself, when someone does something bad to you, and then they apologize, genuinely apologize, your anger that you may have, you no longer feel you should have that. Just like that. That is reversing bad karma. That's why we do the apology, like the purification. It's reversing it. Okay, I think.
Rinpoche, I would like to inform you that one of our dear friends passed away 4 weeks ago, and today is his 4th week. So all the Tibetans are doing prayer at their house. So there's not much Tibetan here today. So Rinpoche, 2 minutes now, I'm not sure.
Maybe we recite Om Mani Padme Hum. Even if you don't know what it is, if you are here, but it's just recited. It's a mantra. Mantra is sounds that protects the mind. It's called mantra. It protects the mind. Same thing in Buddhism. Buddha Dhamma, all to do with mind. It's always about mind. So here, mantra, that which protects the mind. And here we recite this to protect the mind of someone who passed away. That may they find a higher rebirth, may they meet Dharma, may they gain full awakening soon, and may they become useful to all sentient beings. Chadon Kolo Jibe Jabaton, Chadon Kabazon Bosangeton, Kankutan, Zumba Cherizilla, Chatalo, Manipeno, Manipeno, Manipeno. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Gyawadi, Cherizo, to Chichamanabate, Salako, Dijin Shepa Mitru Jabuji, Sacha Benji, Chanjunian Bene, Mongation to Culture, Pulam, City, Pramata, the Jawa, Tenant Dewaches, Sacha, Jizuko, Machuba Tabis, Mount the Tony Pondo News of the Trupe, Sacha, Trupe, Sangetemba, JJ Show. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This has been the weirdest evening for me. This trip. I really like it. Because talking about karma is like that. And if to talk about mind, it's even more difficult. And tomorrow is Bardo. Bardo is again all about mind. And more, bit more easier, I guess. But still. If you're really interested, I suggest reading about karma. You can read in sutras of the Buddhas. It's freely available these days on the internet. You can read this very small book written by a Theravada monk, What the Buddha Taught. It's really good. Walla Polla Rahula, that's in it, doesn't matter. You just download it and read it. It's so interesting. And yes, please contemplate, and if these things interest you. Yeah, thank you so much.
So please.